and burn.
Hey everyone, so tonight I want to discuss the White Stripes' second album, and this is ʻsteɪl. Even though I have been referring to it as ʻsteɪl for the past 20 years or so, so if I end up calling it ʻsteɪl a bunch, I apologize. I know that that is not how the album's title is to be pronounced. I just find it more fun to mispronounce things from time to time. And actually for that one, I kind of blame Ricky from the Trailer Park Boys. It's just more fun to call jalapeno chips jalapeno, and I don't think I'm the only person who feels that way. So yeah, so whereas with their first record, each of the White Stripes records seem to have a very defined sound, and they seem to have like a set path. Like there's already a blueprint put in place that White had sort of constructed when he was writing the album. And I know technically that that's not the case, but it does sort of feel like each of their records has its own blueprint, because this record doesn't sound much like their first record, and this record sounds nothing like their next record, which would be White Blood Cells. Each of their records stands independent from the rest of their discography, and that's something that I always found was really exciting and really unique about the White Stripes, was the fact that despite the fact that they have a sound, they definitely have a sound, because Meg is essentially drumming the same on every track. Like, she loves a fucking crash, man. She just plays that like full on. So on one hand, all their stuff kind of sounds the same, but on the other, from record to record, their records are entirely different. Each record seems to have, like I said, its own blueprint. And ʻsteɪl, or ʻsteɪl, is certainly no exception. I mean, this is overall, I think this is my absolute least favorite album from the White Stripes. I mean, you got Little Birds on here, Hello Operator's on here, but I prefer that song live because they seem to have a lot more energy when they do Hello Operator live. Hello Operator on here sort of reminds me of all the tracks off their first record, whereas it was too walled off and it was played too safe and too slow. Whereas whenever I've heard them play Hello Operator, or well, actually, anything from their first two records live, there seems to be a greater sense of like urgency, and like it's like you can tell that like Jack is so busy, like he's just so like obsessed with the idea of thrashing his way through these songs, and he's such a scrappy player that it really breathes an entirely new life into these otherwise sort of, like I said, sort of quiet and subdued tracks that are great. Like Hello Operator is like one of the best songs they've ever written, but I prefer it live as opposed to the album version that you'll find here on ʻsteɪl. It's getting dark. I gotta put a light on. It might be too much of a light, actually. There, mood lighting. There you go. Perfect. But yeah, so I feel that well, yeah, really, you know what? I don't like their first two records. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to find like positive things to say, but these two records, I loved them when I was younger, but for me, the White Stripes really began with White Blood Cells, because even though I think the only song on here that I love is Let's Build a Home. I love how it starts with an old recording of Jack when he's a kid. And I do love that song the most, but this record, I don't know, it feels like from record to record, some records they'll put 13, 14 songs like they have on here, and other records they'll put like 15, 16 songs like they did with White Blood Cells, and it just, I don't know, I just don't love this record. I never have. I love the artwork, I love the production. I mean, Jack White is a hell of a songwriter, and him and Meg, they have an incredible amount of chemistry, and that's why, technically speaking, this record works, but this is just the record that I never go to. The only song off here I genuinely love is Let's Build a Home. Hello Operator is really good. Apple Blossom isn't bad, but I prefer Hello Operator live. So I am going to go. I don't want to sit around bashing records I don't love. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little over 4 minutes while I discussed the White Stripes' second album, and that is ʻsteɪl, otherwise known as ʻsteɪl. If you liked this review, or if you agree with my pronunciation of the album title, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. And even if you disagree with every single thing I said, still do something nice for somebody. My God, has it gotten dark out of here fast. Have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button, because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.